Hey, welcome back to Left 4 Dead Garage. Mic's dead, or I would have a mic on, so I'll talk loud so you can hear me. We're back from Power Tour, so the fun and games are over with. Gotta get back to business. Back on everybody's favorite 3100, Pinky, is its official name, even by the owner now. So, I can't exactly remember where I left off, or what I've covered, because I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty sure I accidentally deleted some footage that I was going to use on the next video when I cleaned out the iPad and I got a little carried away. So let me get you caught up. I guess I could have watched the last video myself and we'd know where we're at. So we got the thick carburetor gasket on because the carburetor was hitting the intake manifold. The accelerator pump was hitting, just like it says in the Summit video, you must run a thick gasket. So we got that on there. Got the water pump off. It's painted. I'm having a heck of a time finding 8 groove belts. Well, I've got half of them. I've got the alternator. I am struggling to find a power steering pump belt in an 8 groove. So that's going to take some research, and I think what is this brand? CVF pulleys. They make this whole thing. I might have to message those guys and see what they suggest. But we do have this guy. That's an 8 groove, 41.5 inch belt, or 41 1/8. That's close enough. Got the pump painted. I got the shocks put on. I don't even think I have a charged flashlight. I'm still getting back together from Power Tour. Pulled the caliper to match what that was. It's S10 stuff. The shocks are bolted in. The shocks were not bolted in because they did not have enough thread sticking out. To put the hardware on, because this was on the bottom side, was below the other rubber on the shock. So they had this, then the rubber, and then that ate up all the room. So remove those from both sides, put the shocks in. I put cotter pins where cotter pins go. I went over all this hardware. I've thought long and hard about what to do with this disaster, and this stuff's coming out. If you'll look right through this hole at that very kinked up brake line, well, the way I see it is I can't leave something like that on this truck. That's crap. It looks like crap. It is crap. It's crap work. If I leave that, somebody might think I did that crap work. Well, I would like to minimize the amount of crap work that gets pointed at me. So I think the best thing to do is just replumb the whole thing myself. So that's the route I'm going to go with that. It's not fully plumbed anyway, so it's not a big deal. And I don't like how that just pokes through the hole. I want to put tabs on this thing and do it correctly. And honestly, I did figure out the rubber hose, so we matched those up because I had one hose and I was missing that one on the other side. So we got the brake hose matched up, but it still needs some sort of mounting area because that's garbage, you know. So that's where we're there. That's where we're at on that. Started putting the plug wires on through. She has wire looms, so they will come down the back side and in right here. But these plug wires that they put on it are far too short. So we're going to have to get a custom set of plug wires and just build them. And she wants hot pink. Taylor still makes hot pink wires, so we will order Taylor's. I'm still on the fence about some of this dash stuff. I've got a water temp or a temp sensor coming for the gauges because, you know, we had that issue with the other one. This key switch, I guess I'm just going to give it a shot and we're going to drill it. I don't want to. There's a radius there, and I'm kind of dragging my feet because I'm hoping that I'll come up with a better idea. So It's not something that has to be done right now, so it gives me a little time to think and come up with something. So, and I still have to fix whatever the heck's going on here. I don't know if I covered it or not. If I can find a creeper, I'll show you. But when I was under this thing, looking at some brake stuff, I believe it was, I might have already talked about this. Truck has no transmission mount. I know you're shocked. I know you're just blown away that there's some sort of half done to this truck. So let's look at it. Yep, that's a transmission tail shaft directly bolted to a transmission crossmember. This is supposed to be welded together. This is a cut to fit kind of deal, and this thing is just sat there. It is not even attached. So we're going to have to address that issue as well. But in good news, I got something to show you. And this is what we'll be doing in this video. A fresh rebuilt 9-inch, ring gear and all, with axle bearings. That's what a rebuilt rear end looks like, unlike that mess that we found in this rear end. So in this video we will assemble the rear end and go ahead and install it. I guess see what else we can tackle in this video. Just keep on moving on. So let me get ready and put this thing together. Alrighty, I forgot about axle seals and flange gaskets, but from what I'm reading, most people just use silicone. I'm pretty sure those backing plates have gaskets on them because there's a little fiber left right here, but I guess we can look at that. Also, we still need to address the brake shoe situation. It's missing hardware and the wrong drums, but the owner's father had a set of older 9-inch drums that we're going to try. And that would probably save her quite a bit of money if we can reuse those. Alright, these backing plates, what's left of a gasket it looks like, but nobody around has those, and then most everything I've read just said silicone it, so we'll just lightly silicone this, and then the flange goes here. See, those shoes actually look yeah, see, they're not deep enough. That shoe and this shoe looks wider than these are deep, but this may fit our axle. So anyway, we'll figure that out. It looks like AutoZone in Cherryville, which is 15 miles away or so, is the only person or only place that has the axle seals. I didn't check to see if they had two, so I better check that. I washed this housing out again. It was pretty nasty, and do not believe the smell that came out of these things when I knocked these old seals out. So I need to take one of these with me or measure it with the calipers and then put that number in my phone before I go buying seals that doesn't fit. But that's where we're at. Washed it out, and then I decided I probably should buff this, so I'll blow it out again, get it as clean as I possibly can, so this fresh rear end stays happy. So that'll do it for tonight. See you in the morning. All right, welcome back to where nothing gets done because I have to run around all morning. Left on a axle seal adventure at 7 to be there by 7:30. I got the right seals for the wrong rear end. So the part number I went after was in fact for a 9-inch, although I failed to take one of the old seals with me. But it is in fact for a 9-inch for a 9-inch Ford rear end 28 spline. This rear end, apparently, after coming back, doing research, fits several things, or these seals fit several years, but it's more like an early 9-inch. It looked like the entire year for early Bronco, an EB Bronco. That's kind of what it is. So I'm looking for a 9568 seal. I can't remember what I got earlier, but it was smaller. This is 2-inch 375 OD. Should have took this with me. It wouldn't have been a problem. I hit everything in Kings Mountain and even found a small place that I didn't even know was there. It's called East Coast Bearing. So he didn't have it. He called Napa, Kings Mountain, Gastonia had 3. I'm not riding to Gastonia, so confirmed that the 9568 National Seal is the part number, so I just Amazoned it. It'll be here tomorrow. I'd rather buy local, but I can't run around all day. I mean, like I said, I left at 7 and it's now 10 o'clock, so I've got nothing done. So what I'm going to do is I got the housing cleaned out again. I blew it out, got this cleaned up. We'll take the housing, stick it under the truck, put the third member in, and then when the seals get here tomorrow, we'll knock the axle seals in, put those in. But while we're waiting on the axle seals, we'll see if we can't decipher this brake situation. So let's get this housing under the truck, get it loosely bolted in there, and then we'll decipher the brakes. Well, and put the third member in. Did I show you the third member? Yeah, I did. So went back to the same gear ratio, 355 gears. Fresh axle bearings, all that mess. So, yep, let's get to working. All right, I'm not going to tighten any of this up just yet. Well, one, I don't have tools under here, but we'll just leave it where it's at, because if we have to make adjustments, there's no point in tying it all down. Like this stuff's still, the jam nuts are still loose, so I don't believe it's probably not set anyway. So I'm gonna get this third member on my little rolly deal there and roll it under there, and we'll see if we can't. Oh, I gotta get some silicone, see if we can't muscle that bad boy into its home. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, I got the sauce run around the housing, and I guess now we're gonna struggle and put this bad boy in. Looking at it now, I probably should use the floor jack instead of trying to pick this big rascal up and muscle it in there, but we'll see how it goes. Oh no, my mic stuck to it. All right, that's the bad thing about using the magnetic mic. I get stuck to everything. Well, everything's steel. Oh, well, you know, some days things go better than others. I also don't have not a single tool down here to tighten this up, but we'll get the nuts started and I'll go grab the impact, and I also need a wrench to get on these bottom two. Not my favorite wrench, but the ratchet end works pretty good. Can't get this one. Oh yeah. Okay. Third member is in. We still have to. Oh yeah, I was supposed to have looked at that. I don't think that bolt. While I'm thinking about it, let's take a look. Yep, I can see it from here. So we need to measure that and make a bushing. And see, that's nice right there. All right, we'll just leave that out. Actually, let's go ahead and measure it while I'm thinking about it. Let me get the calipers. I wonder if that frame end over here is going to be the same. Let's see. So it's a 1/2 inch bolt. Checks 495. But this is 5/8. 625. So I feel like the best solution for this is to drill this bracket and put a 5/8 bolt in it, because you're only talking, you know, it's 125 thousandths difference. Oh, it's 125 thousandths difference, but if you split that in two, that's not a big, you know, that's a pretty thin wall sleeve. So not saying I couldn't make it, I can, you know, no problem, but I'm curious about that end. But I feel like just going ahead and putting a 5/8 bolt in that would be the way to go. Let me see what I've got in there. Something with a good, you know, good long shoulder is what we need. And if I do have it, then we'll just drill her out there. So and we'll go from there. I didn't find a fine thread 5/8, but I've got a coarse, and you can see how well that fits, and it is plenty long enough to go through. Probably too long actually, but it's got the, you know, most of the shoulder there will be in that bushing sleeve. So I think that's what we'll do there. We'll just take that to 5/8 and use that. We'll have to check this end over here at the, yeah, you can see it. Check that over there. It doesn't feel sloppy. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's probably the same way. But we'll look, we'll double check it. I about swung that out on my head, didn't I? All right, let me find a 5/8 drill. We'll knock that out, and then we'll take this panhard bar loose at the frame rail. That might be tough to drill to because of the shape. You know what I mean? I can't get in there, so that might be a problem. Fingers crossed that it's not like that, or I will have to make a sleeve. And if I make one, I might as well make two. So before I drill that, let's check that. All right, thankfully the frame mount is a 1/2 inch, so the bolt fits like it should. So we'll just stick that back on. Thank goodness, because I knew I couldn't get a drill in there to drill that bracket, and I was not feeling going to work today. That shop's been shut up all day long. You know that son of a gun's warm. So I'll go back to searching for a drill. We'll just enlarge that 5/8, put a 5/8 bolt in it, and it'll be good to go. So, and I need to get some tools so we can tighten this stuff up. All right, I'll be back again. I did not have a poly lock or a lock nut for a 5/8 11, so I ordered some, and it really does need to be a poly lock. You can tell I've messed with this bolt before. It's slapped full of anti-seize. So I got me a drill. It was a little beat up. I ran it on the drill doctor. If you don't have one of those, it's a lifesaver. It does up to 3/4 it'll do up to a 750 drill. So feels pretty good, looks pretty good too. It did everything but clean up the very back end, but it'd be all right. I'll go through this side and then I'll spin around, and if I can, there might be something in the way over there. So, oh Lord, I say she got some bite. You're probably thinking, why don't you spray that drill? That's because sharpening it's cheaper than spraying it with PB Blast. So I'm not sure. I'm not going to spray a drill. And I'll check it. I just want to get it together, but we'll check it left to right to make sure that the rear end is in fact centered. That's what makes it tough with this single adjustable stuff. It's not all that adjustable. May actually have to go to a little longer bolt by the time I put washers on it, but none of this other stuff has washers. But so I don't know, maybe we don't need them, maybe they do need them and they didn't do it. But yeah, I'll double check the left to right before I snug all that up. And I got tools to tighten up this suspension stuff. Alright, so that'll have to do for under here for now. We'll get the nuts in tomorrow and put a nut on this back side, and probably swap this bolt out for one just a tick longer. And still have to put axle seals in, those are coming tomorrow. Have to gear all this thing. I guess what we'll do next is let's look at these brakes, or you know what, we'll save the brakes till after the rear end's back together. I'm gonna look at that steering wheel right quick, because she's asked me a couple times about the steering wheel, and I'm curious too. So a little out of order, but we'll end up in the same spot in the end. Alrighty, well, I put a feeler out on Facebook looking for a 9-inch. Didn't find a rear end. But I'm glad I know people that have a car parts hoarding collection. There's not a problem. Have a car parts collection like I do. So I found some much needed pieces. What I got lucky and found was complete backing plates, e-brake cable and all. Now, I can't use the backing plates because they're for big bearing 9-inch, but they have every single piece that we're missing. Which is a good thing, because for what I gave for these, you couldn't have bought all the pieces for, you know? And the e-brake cables were there, which should be something I could make work. I mean, I was just gonna have to just guess my way through what to use anyway, because, well, I don't necessarily know if there's any e-brake cable mounts under there or what, but we will figure that out whenever we figure out where the brake cables, the e-brake cables land. Surely I got something out there in the field that I can rob those tabs off of. But, so, here is my plan for these brakes. Her brakes, Pinky's brakes that was on there, 11 inch by 2 1/4. The drums fit the diameter and the width. The shoes and the drums are new. So, I'm going to have to make something that's discontinued. I thought I was on it. I thought I had figured it out. Spend a couple bucks, we'll be good to go. At one point, they made a register. I might have covered this, I don't know. I got CRS bad. At one time, they made a register that would fit the 2-inch 430 axle flange, and it would adapt it to the 2-inch 785. The 2-inch 785 drum. Curry made it. Curry Enterprises, they make, you know, top shelf rear end pieces, full rear ends and whatnot. And I found a forum. I found it on a forum. I think it was Jalopy Journal. There's always something good on there. So I found a part number on there, and this is it. Unfortunately, it's no longer available. So, I happen to know a guy that knows how to run a lathe. I don't particularly like doing machining on the side because it's just not what I like to do. But we'll just make us some. I got some pieces of them. I got some scrap stuff at work that I dug out of the barrel that I can get the dimensions I need out of, and obviously it'll be free material because it's old scrap part anyway. I just got to figure out when I can jump in on the lathe that I run and use it. I don't really want to tear down a running job, but at the same time, I really need to get this thing back together. So that's my plan. We're going to make we're going to make the register adapters, whatever they're called. I don't know. Adapter rings. That sounds good. We're going to make a set. Some of the dimensions I'm not 100% sure about, like the overall length and how thick the flange is. So I'm just going to kind of wing it on that. It might take some modification, but we'll get there. So, what are we doing today? We're going to put the backing plates on. I'm going to stick the axles in there. I'm going to put all that stuff together. I'm going to gear oil it up. And then what I'll do is, since this hardware, some of this hardware is new, these springs and all this, we're going to keep what's brand new, obviously, and then we're going to rob out of that other stuff, everything we don't have. So that's my game plan. Let me dig some stuff out and get ready, and we'll put it together. Let's start putting this thing together here. I'm gonna put in a bee's nest in there. I see a wasp flying around. I'm gonna put just a tad of grease where this bearing goes in, just to help out a little bit. And then I'm gonna put some grease on this seal and the axle. That way nobody's dry. Clean it back off this flange because I'm gonna put a little silicone on that. Wire wheeled these things, got the threads cleaned out. I've realized that I did not round up matching hardware for these. It's not a big deal, but it's just something I don't like. I do not have any fine thread nuts that size, so I guess we're kind of stuck with it. So I guess I could have cleaned this up a little bit more. Let me do that. I'm gonna grab the old cleaner upper and we'll get the crud off this backing plate. Got a little dust in there from that, but it'll be okay. Pretty clean. Take a little silicone here. They do make gaskets, but I didn't get one. Most of them forums said just silicone, so I'll put a light coat on there. I'd imagine a four-drive truck or something would definitely benefit from the actual gasket. I mean, that seal inside that tube is supposed to keep all the bad out and all the good in, but bolts back through. There. This side's a little crusty too, but it'll be just fine. I hope you can see this. Yeah, you can see it. Axle's a little pitted. Hopefully no leaks. All right. I need the dead blow. A little persuasion. Like I said, I'm not a fan of this mismatched hardware, but I'm working with what we got. All right, I'm gonna jump over to the passenger side and do the same thing again, and then we'll come back over here to the driver's side and we'll put the brakes together. Okay, both axles are in, backing plates, all that fun stuff. I've not put gear oil in it yet. I almost wish I'd have left one of these axles out when I go build one of those adapter ring deals, but we know what size we need to be, and then I'll double check this and make it a couple thou tube, you know, bigger than this diameter. That way it goes on there pretty easy. We'll make them out of steel too. I've seen some wheel woods that are in aluminum, but I feel like, well, we have steel and it's FREE 99, so we're going with steel. I have to pull these shoes all the way back off because they have the shoes on wrong. If you'll notice, this should be the leading shoe, this should be the trailing shoe. The leading shoe is shorter and thinner, if you'll notice. Thicker, thinner, and then from here to here it's shorter. This one's much more lining on that, so they need to be flipped. And I tried that part number and that didn't help me with anything. And I'm not saying it wouldn't come up in some other, I only tried O'Reilly's, but yep, we got to pull. Well, here's a good example. These backing plates here. So this is a driver's side assembly, and you'll see short, long. This is the back side. So, and then we'll just rob everything out of these guys and put it on there piece by piece. So let me get to flipping these and then we'll start taking that thing apart. Alright, like a dummy, I stopped in the middle of this and now I'm late getting back to it. But I got this side situated, got the cable guide on there, the adjuster. I mean, it's not adjusted all the way, but the springs don't want to fit the greatest. I bet I took this thing apart 6 or 8 times to try to get the spring situated on there, because I didn't think this little guy was on there right. And then I felt like this cable should have went back behind there, and like a dum-dum I didn't, you know what I mean. I guess I could have went back and watched the video, but I didn't. And then I was like, well, let me look at the other side, and I realized that this side is missing the cable guide and the adjuster, so that kind of stinks. But I do have, I don't know if it's the same or not, I do have some 10-bolt brakes or 12-bolt Chevrolet brakes up there that might have them. If not, I'll Google it, and if it's something I can get off Amazon real quick, like, then we'll snatch those up. But tomorrow I'll just repeat the process on the other side. We got e-brake cables. Looking back, probably should have painted those while they were off the truck, so you know, I'll have to address that, because I will not leave that like that under there. It's in there connected to this lever here, and then you got that bar. So other than a few small pieces, it's way more complete than it was. So progress is progress, I assume. But jump on the other side tomorrow, get it knocked out.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Product, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
Alrighty, I don't know how thorough I'll make this video, making this dash bushing for this ignition switch and the register adapters for the brake drum. Boy, let me tell you, it is hot in this building. Been closed up for 2 days. Whew. So I will be working very speedily, if that's a word. We're gonna run it on the CNC over there, wherever it's at, somewhere. But I'll just probably just as quick just to knock these few out on the manual. Take this heavy 4-jaw chuck off and put a 3-jaw on there, and got me a piece of scrap 1.25 inches for the ignition bushing, and then I'm hoping that these 2 scrap pieces will be enough for my brake, for the brake drum register. These right here. I should be able to hold on this back flange, face this flange off, and then we'll bore it and turn the diameter. That's my plan anyway. So hopefully I don't screw that up, because I only have 2. No redos on that. So let me get this chuck swapped for this little lighter guy here, and we'll knock out the ignition switch first. Alrighty, there's our ignition switch spacer. It's probably 300 degrees right now, but that nut will sit on like that, and then I'll fix this burr on the back side, and then I'll belt sand that edge right there. Yeah, that thing's hot. Okay, next up, the axle register deals. So let me get set up and we'll get to it. All right, for this little flange here that I don't need, I'm gonna cheat the system and just cut it off with the cutoff blade. All right, here's where my guesstimate math comes in as far as how far I turn back and how much I leave for a flange. So the 2-inch 785 diameter, which would be my OD, needs to be 150. I don't know what this groove is, so that's 180. Probably, looking back, I should have flipped this around and this groove wouldn't be there, but we can always face a little more off. It ain't a big deal. So we'll turn it back 150 and see where we're at. Actually, I'll just turn it back to this till this groove goes away, and we'll face it down to the length we need, and then we'll bore it. And I'm pretty sure I got enough room to get in there with the cutoff tool again and cut this bad boy off. Let me look. Oh yeah. Yeah, we'll be okay. All right, so let's turn this OD right quick. So we gotta turn 365 thousandths off the OD. All right, that should be close to 60 thousandths away. 2-inch 850. 63 thousandths. So I'll tiptoe up into that, the next 60. We are at, this is something critical, I'd use mics, but the calipers will be fine. 2-inch 780. What are we supposed to be at? Damn, might have went under 5,000. Oh no, man. We're at 2-inch 800. We're supposed to be at 785. Or what, 15 away. I'm gonna take 18. I don't know if I got enough room to. That'll fit. Alright, how much do we got to face off? Because 150 is all I was wanting to turn this back to. So we went back 260, so let's face 100 off. Okay, we're guessing on the thickness of the flange, and I'm also going to guess on this OD, the OD of the actual flange. So I just took 50 off, cleaned it up. Whatever that diameter is, that's what that diameter will be. Now I'm going to slow this thing down. We'll see if we can't bore this guy out. We'll change out to a boring bar and we'll see if we can get this hole bigger. Alright, that's a 1/2 inch of material. Sorry about the fan noise, I couldn't take it no longer. So we're at 1-inch 840. 590 thousandths away. Alright, we should be close to 340 thousandths away. We're at 2-inch. Right at 2-inch 9. Yeah, 2-inch 90. 340 to go. I'm trying to do this before the camera does. Thing's hot. Alright, so we're at 2 inches, 340. 90 thousandths away. Aiming for 2 inches, 430. Got 435. All right, I got these things made. Hopefully they work. Fits the bore. Yep, fits pretty good. If I have to bring the ID a little larger, I can hold. I can put them in a chuck like this and hold them. If I have to face this backside off to thin this flange out, I can do that too. It is so hot in here. I'll get this stuff shut down when we head back to my shop and see if the ignition switch piece, see if my bezel works, my switch bezel, and hopefully these registers work. I'll see you at the shop. Alrighty, like a champ. So the drum fits the OD and the ID fits the axle. So I mean, it could probably handle, I mean the drum's flush, but it could probably handle, it could get by with a thinner back flange. I was going to leave 100 and I cut it off at 90 and I faced off 10 more, so it's about 80 thou thick. Could probably face 30 more off and just leave a 50 thou, but I mean a 30 thou depth isn't going to change a whole lot. So that's a win. With that being said, I'm done with the brakes. Well, I'm done with this part of the brakes. We're not done with plumbing, so that'll probably be, I don't know what's next. I gotta pick an evil. So with that being said, thanks for watching Left 4 Dead Garage. We'll see you on the next one.